Welcome back, friends, to another video. This week we're going to talk about stress, specifically how to eliminate all stress from your life. Now, this is something that they don't teach you about in business school, and they should, because dealing with stress is something that's going to be so important to your career. Now, you might say, Zach, what are you talking about? How can you possibly eliminate all stress from your life? We're in the middle of a pandemic, unemployment is sky high, we're in this crazy presidential election. How is it possible to eliminate stress from your life? But it is possible, and I'm going to explain how you do it in this week's YouTube video. My goal for today is to start having this conversation about how to deal with stress. This is a huge problem in business. If you walk into any business out there and you look around, people are stressed out. There's a lot of stress out there, and businesses don't teach their employees how to deal with that stress. And stress is really bad. We know it's bad for you physically, and when you're stressed out, you have a hard time performing at work and taking care of your families. In this video, we're going to define stress, and I'm going to give you tools to eliminate that stress. So let's start by defining stress. If you're going to deal with this problem, you're going to have to understand it. The first main idea about stress is that if you are a high performer, stress is a constant struggle. You need to realize that you will be dealing with stressful situations your entire career, so you better start learning how to deal with it and eliminate it. And this is a constant battle that you will need to stay vigilant against. The reason is that stress comes from uncertainty. If you are a high performer, you're always going to be pushing boundaries and trying to create change. You're going to always find yourself in new and uncertain situations. Even if you sat at home and did nothing, you would still be stressed out because you would have no money. These stressful situations will find their way into your life, and you need to understand how to deal with them. The second thing to understand is that there is a difference between a stressful situation and how you think about that situation. Just because the situation is stressful does not mean you need to internalize it and let it stress you out. The goal here is for you to remain calm, cool, collected, and happy, even if the world around you is falling apart. The way you make this happen is all about how you think about the situation. I want to break down what is going on when someone becomes stressed out. The cause of stress is the difference between reality and expectations. Let us take a work situation. If a boss or a coworker is stressing you out, there is a difference between how they are acting and how you think they should be acting. Maybe you think your coworker should be nicer to you. You think the situation is unfair and they're being mean. You keep coming into work day after day into this horrible situation, and you become overwhelmed with stress. Well, you must realize there's a difference between reality and your expectations. The reality is your coworker is a jerk. Your expectation is that they should be fair and they should be nice, but that's not the reality. The reality is they are a jerk. My point is that the stress you are feeling is 100% created by you. I know this is hard for a lot of people to accept, but the difference between reality and expectations happens 100% in your own mind. This is all mental, and if this is all mental, you have the ability to control it 100%. In this example, it might seem to be an easy option to just remove yourself from the situation. That might provide a short-term fix, but long-term, it's not going to solve anything. Because we explained before that you will always find yourself in stressful situations. You don't want to shy away from stressful situations. You're a high performer. You should be seeking them out. The trick is to learn how to deal with the mental aspect of stress, because then whatever situation you're in, you're going to be able to handle it. Let's go back to the situation with your coworker who is a jerk. What you want in any situation is to be constantly making things better. If you're in a job and you're working towards goals, if a coworker is a roadblock to you, you should be setting boundaries, effectively communicating, maybe have a mediation, and maybe go out and look for a better job. But being stressed out about the situation does not help any of these activities. There's a difference between the situation and how you think about the situation. So how do you approach a horrible situation in a stress-free way? I want to start with the easiest thing you can do. Find activities in your life that are stress relievers. This could be exercise, spending time with friends, meditation, playing video games, a hobby, a weekend trip. Everyone should have things that they do to help them unwind. This is not going to 100% solve your problem, but it's a good place to start. A lot of business people don't even take this step, so if you can try this, you're already better than a lot of people out there. If you can spend a portion of your life engaging in stress-relieving activities, you're going to be a happier person. And when you're a happier person, your work is going to be better, your relationships are going to be better, and you're going to be a healthier person. The next step is more advanced. You will need to develop the self-discipline to control your own mind. The stress you're feeling is 100% created by you in your own head. You need to recognize that you have the ability to simply not let it bother you, and instead focus on the positive actions you can take in your life to reach your goals. If your coworker is a jerk, there's nothing you can do about it. What you need to do is take all that stress and frustration you feel and surrender your frustration to the universe and let the universe deal with it. You have more important things to focus on. You really do not need to stress out about it. This sounds so much easier than it actually is in real life. It's so hard to let things go, especially if they're bombarding you day after day. But it is possible, and you can do it. And if you can control your own mind, you can be 100% stress-free. I want to take a minute and talk about alcohol. A lot of business people use alcohol as a way to de-stress. You might come home from work stressed out and have a few drinks. The problem with this is alcohol is an addictive substance. This is how a lot of people become alcoholics. The alcohol is relieving people's stress in the short term, but they're never really dealing with the mental causes of the problem. If you learn about the recovery process and how people treat alcoholism, they teach people something called the serenity prayer. They recite this prayer over and over again. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This is essentially teaching people how to deal with stress. You cannot change a stressful situation, but you can change the way you deal with it. This is talking about the difference between reality and your expectations, and then figuring out positive ways to think through your actions. The outcome of this prayer is that stress turns into serenity. Let me recommend one more thing to you. Go talk to a therapist. I always encourage people at least once in their life to go to a therapist. And I'll share my experience, which was very positive. About 10 years ago, I went to a therapist for stress. I was feeling so overwhelmed with my career. I felt like the constant stress at work was like an enormous weight on my shoulders crushing me. I found a therapist and I went about 4 times every couple of weeks. And then after that, I never had to go again. It helped me so much, and the therapist gave me techniques of how to think about situations in more positive ways. I found it very helpful to talk to someone. So if you're feeling overwhelmed with stress, find a trained therapist to go talk to. They can help. I hope you found this video helpful. If you are in business, you are going to deal with stress. But if you work at it, it is possible to eliminate it from your life. Thank you so much for watching. If you have additional accounting questions, you can always email me through my website, wolvesandfinance.com, and I will reply with my rates. I'm Zach from Wolves in Finance. Let's go out and make some money.